This is the Louie Tee Network.
Who else could it be? Me, your man, Louie Tee. Welcome to lockdown coverage, week number 5 in the National Football League. Tennessee Titans on the road taking on the Miami Dolphins. This was a game that was really telling for me because I said, look, whoever loses this game, and really, I was putting the onus on the Dolphins. When I said this, when I made this statement, I was really talking to the Dolphins specifically. But yeah, whoever lost this game was going to really tell me how bad they were this season. And if the Titans lose this game and they lose by a field goal, you say, hey, that's not bad. And you don't want to set the bar too low for yourself. This is a winnable game against the Dolphins team that's struggling, but you say to yourself, hey, Miami, find a way to win at home versus the Titans. They didn't do that. So this tells me a lot about who the Dolphins are and who they're going to be moving forward. It's not a very good team at all. And we saw that on Thursday Night Football versus Cincinnati. I thought maybe the short rest and the short week impacted them in that game. Maybe they could come out and find a way to get it done at home after having a little extra rest for playing on Thursday night. Not the case. We're going to jump into this breakdown here in a second. But first, if you're watching and you're new to the channel, welcome and subscribe to the Louie Tee Network for more great content in 2016 and beyond. I'm also on Twitter at In the Lab Room is the Twitter handle. Go ahead and give me a follow. And if you happen to be on Twitter or in the YouTube chat discussion as you're watching this, make sure you use the hashtag LouieTeeLive to have your voice heard and have me read your comment at the end of this breakdown so we can go back and forth with our dialogue. If you're on Facebook, so am I. In the Lab Room is the Facebook page. Go ahead, give me that thumbs up. So let's jump into this breakdown of the Titans and the Dolphins. Likes, dislikes, banana in the tailpipe. And we're going to jump into that with the likes, with the road team, that being the Tennessee Titans in this game, and talk about their first half likes in this ball game. You start with Delanie Walker. To me, he's a huge difference maker. When he's healthy, they have a shot offensively because of what he does in the middle of the field. That can't be understated. It can't be overstated. This is a guy that, to me, is the biggest part of what they do offensively in the passing game. When he's not on the field, it is felt. I think they beat the Raiders. I honestly think they beat the Raiders if Delanie Walker is healthy in that ball game. That's just me. But he has that big of an impact on the passing game because Marcus Mariota, to me, is most comfortable throwing the football to Delanie Walker, especially when you're talking about throwing it over the middle of the field. And Delanie Walker has shown time and time again how reliable he is. Took a shot over the middle in this game on a deep pass over the middle and got up and kept on going. He's that type of player. And Delanie Walker, to me, is a huge part of what the Titans do offensively. I call it the dad running game. D-A-D running game. Dad running game is what I want to see from the Titans. Early before the season started, the commitment was supposed to be to the run game. And sometimes I feel like they don't run it enough. It's supposed to be a power run game. You're supposed to minimize how much involvement Marcus Mariota has as a passer. Limit the amount of things you're asking him to do. Don't have him throwing the football north of 30 times in a ball game, if at all possible. And the way you do that is with the dad running game, DeMarco and Derek. Give them the football. And I was even more impressed this game because Mariota got involved with his legs, and I'll talk about that a little bit later on. But dad running game, okay? DeMarco and Derek need to touch the football upwards of 35 times a game between the two of them. Don't care how you split those carries up. DeMarco seems to be the one toting the rock and doing a hell of a job doing so. If it's not broken, don't fix it. He had 27 carries and destroyed the Dolphins in this game. I want to see more Derrick Henry. I didn't think he touched it enough last week. He needs to touch the football anywhere from 7 to 12 times in a football game rushing. And if Murray's having an off game or he's banged up, then I want to see his number of touches elevated. Derrick Henry averaged over 7 yards a pop in this game on 7 carries. He's a guy that you can give the football to, and he can be just as dynamic as DeMarco Murray in the running game. They need to run the football. They need to run it well to be effective. That was the game plan going into the season. Power run game, run teams, and pound them into oblivion. They did that in this game. Over 200 yards, 230 yards rushing in this game. They were dominant on the ground. I want to see that more often from this Titans football team because I believe they are capable of doing this week in, week out. I haven't seen many teams shut down their running game this season. I've seen the Titans shut down their own running game this season. Mariota's legs. Look, when you're blessed with the athletic gifts that Marcus Mariota was blessed with, it's your duty to be a playmaker. You're not allowed to just sit in a pocket and survey the field like all the rest of the statues around the league. You want to be Tom Brady. You eventually want to grow and graduate to being Tom Brady. But you've been blessed. See, Tom Brady can't run, so he doesn't. He doesn't have that ability. So because he's deficient in that area, he had to make up for it in other areas. You don't have that same deficiency. You can run, you can move. So by virtue of that, the responsibility is bestowed upon you at the quarterback position to be a playmaker. Not just be a quarterback. If you're Marcus Mariota, you're a playmaker. If you're Carson Wentz, you're a playmaker. If you're one of these guys that has wheels, like Aaron Rodgers, who is a playmaker, you have to be a playmaker. It is your duty as quarterback to be a playmaker when you've been blessed with athletic exploits like Marcus Mariota has been. And you saw what him using his legs will do for this offense. It will free guys up. It will open up the running game because now when he hands that football off, the responsibility of that defensive end to close down, he's got to respect Marcus Mariota pulling that football out. Or even on under center handoffs where it could be play action fake. He's got to honor that fake because it could be a bootleg and Marcus Mariota can get outside and extend with his legs or even pick up some yards with his legs like we saw him do in this game. Part of that 235 yards rushing in this game was Marcus Mariota using his legs. We need to see more of this. If Marcus Mariota is going to succeed in this league, he has to be a playmaker. That involves using his legs. And I love the usage of the slide. Don't take any shots unnecessarily. Thought he was magnificent in this game. 20 of 28 passing, but also using his legs. He has to be a playmaker for the Titans to be successful offensively. He was that in this game. The touchdown before the half is my last like for the first half for the Titans. Great opportunity given to you, great field position, and you take full advantage. Marcus Mariota, 5 of 5 or 6 of 6 on that drive, throwing the football, finds Delaney Walker for a 20-yard touchdown. Excellent drive, excellent way to cap off the first half if you're the Titans. Getting points before the half is huge, and they got a touchdown. Love it for the Titans. Let's go to the first half likes for the Miami Dolphins. Jakeem Grant, and really for me, big plays was the story of the first half for the Dolphins. Jakeem Grant's 74-yard punt return for a touchdown. The guy's dynamic. We saw that at Texas Tech. When they drafted him, they knew what they drafted him to do, and this is what they drafted him to do, make big plays, especially in the returns game. And I think it's not going to be long before they start trying to get him the football offensively, whether it be in the backfield as a running back or out as a receiver. They're going to try to create ways for Jakeem Grant to get more involved in the offense. At least I feel like they should. He's such a dynamic playmaker out in space. You saw that on his punt return, making moves, getting up the sideline, and getting into the end zone for a big 74-yard punt return. Damian Williams with a big catch and run. The Dolphins, like I said, were feast or famine in this game with big plays. When they weren't making big plays, they weren't doing anything in this game. That was their ticket, was big plays. And that's not a way to sustain offense in this league. That's not a winning way of offense in this league. But you'll take big plays. No one's turning down 74-yard punt returns. No one's turning down simple dump-offs out to the flats and flares out to the flats that turn into big 55-yard catch and runs. No one's turning those down, but they have to be able to sustain offense. But big play by Damian Williams to catch the football out of the backfield and get up the field and make a big play for this Dolphins offense. You go to the dislikes in the first half, and we go back to the Titans. Second straight week in a row giving up a huge punt return for a touchdown. Look, you're not good enough. I tell you this all the time. I know you get tired of me telling you things which you're not good enough to do. But you're not good enough to keep giving up punt returns for touchdowns. You could have beat the Texans last week if you don't give up a punt return for a touchdown. That was the game-winning score in a 27-20 ball game. You give up a punt return in this game. You were up 7-0. You were feeling good about yourself. And boom, just like that, you give up a punt return, and now it's 7-7. That could have changed the whole tide of this game. The Dolphins could have went and ran off 24 unanswered after that when they grabbed the momentum with that punt return. You don't know what's going to happen. Stop giving up big returns on special teams. The good teams in the league don't do that. You want to win on special teams, not lose on special teams. You got to win 2 out of the 3 facets of the game. And when you're giving up punt returns for touchdowns, you're not winning special teams. Stop giving up big punt returns. You go to the Dolphins' first half dislikes. Offensive line woes, and really this is a problem on both sides of the football, on both halves of the football, not just the first half. This offensive line was horrid in this football game. And I know about all the injuries. No Laramie Tunsil in this game. No left tackle in this game. I understand all of the things. No Brendan Albert. I understand all of the issues. You got guys out there, Billy Turner out there who shouldn't be out there at left tackle. You got a bunch of guys out there doing things that they shouldn't be doing. Bottom line is, this offensive line has struggled. Even when you're fully healthy, they still struggle. Ryan Tannehill isn't going to get a fair opportunity if he can't be protected. I'm this close to calling him David Carr. Because David Carr had all the potential in the world, but he was brutalized in Houston. First ever quarterback in that franchise's history. They didn't have the adequate offensive line to protect him. He took shot after shot after shot after shot until he became shell-shocked. And after a certain point, a quarterback becomes more concerned with the rush in front of him than he is getting the football to his receivers. At some point, that's going to happen with Ryan Tannehill. The more shots he takes, the less concerned he's going to be with delivering the football, and the more concerned he's going to be with looking around at the rush. He's going to start hearing footsteps. It's going to impact the way he plays. Look, he's already inconsistent without the pass rush, okay? You factor that in with these offensive line woes, and it's only going to get worse for Ryan Tannehill. He's this close. I'm telling you right now, these beatings pile up. They add up. These ass whoopings, you keep accumulating these. The cumulative effect of these ass whoopings, these shots that he's taking, they add up and they turn into a quarterback that will never, ever reach his full potential. He's that close to becoming David Carr. I've seen talented quarterbacks be destroyed by offensive line in front of them, not protecting them. He's this close to becoming David Carr. That offensive line was horrible in this game. They were a nightmare. And Ryan Tannehill didn't stand a chance in this game. He didn't. And this offensive line is much of the blame in this football game. Kenyon Drake with the third down drop. Look, man, you're a rookie. Catch the damn football. This Dolphins offense, they have trouble sustaining offense. You know why they have trouble sustaining offense? When the offensive line isn't protecting, when they're not picking up penalties, Guys are doing dumb stuff like this, dropping the football wide open on third down. Catch the ball. The run defense, man, was it bad in this game. This isn't just a first half dislike. It's a whole game dislike, but they were especially bad in the first half. There was one drive where the Titans moved the football down the field and scored a touchdown in 13 plays, the last of which was an Andre Johnson touchdown from about 3 or 4 yards out. The first 10 plays of that possession were all runs, and they were gutting the Dolphins all the way down the field. And then when they got into the red zone inside the 10, they had to throw it into the end zone. You can't allow that. The run defense was putrid. 235 yards surrendered on 41 carries. Marcus Mariota picked up chunk yardage. Derrick Henry picked up chunk yardage. DeMarco Murray went over the century mark. The run defense was pitiful, and there is no excuse for that with this much talent on this Dolphins defense. I don't want to hear any excuses from anyone. End of the first half defense. To allow Marcus Mariota to carve you up, he had a nice run down the sideline. He threw 5 of 5 and hit Delaney Walker for a 20-yard touchdown. Can't give that up right before the half. You can't do that. But you did that en route to this loss. A lot of things wrong with the Dolphins right now. A lot of things wrong with this Dolphins football team. Let's go to the likes for the second half. We go back to the Titans. Jason McCourty with an interception. That was a nice play. Ball thrown behind Devontae Parker. He snatches it away from him. Really good play. Gave the Titans some great field position. That was a big play. Nice play by Jason McCourty. I think that's the second week in a row he's had an interception. So he's coming on, playing some outstanding football for the Titans right now. Derek Morgan with 2 sacks in this game. Good to see him getting to the quarterback. This Titans team doesn't get to the quarterback enough. And if they can get anything out of Derek Morgan, that would be huge. I want to give him credit for what he did in this game, but I think a lot of the credit needs to go to that woeful Miami Dolphins offensive line for him having the amount of sacks he had. I think the Titans came into this game with 4 sacks. I think they ended up sacking Tannehill 5 or 6 times in this game. And a lot of that had to do with the fact that this offensive line was horrible. So I'm still going to give Derek Morgan his credit, but I think more of it had to do with the offensive line than anything Derek Morgan did in this game. And Stafford with an interception to wrap this game up late. Good to see him getting his hands on the football. Damian Stafford with the second pick of Ryan Tannehill in this ballgame. You go to the Dolphins and their second half likes, and it's just the deep ball to Devontae Parker. The reason why I have problems with Ryan Tannehill is the inconsistencies. Here's a situation where he throws a gorgeous deep ball to Devontae Parker down the sideline, sets them up with a chance to get in the end zone. They ultimately would settle for a field goal on that possession, but these are the things that he can do when he has time. But there are times where he has time and he still misses. Like the throw to McCourty that was picked off, that throw to Devontae Parker, I should say, that was picked off by McCourty. Simple drag across the shallow crosser, shallow drag, and he's got time, and he comes back to that route late after going through his progressions. Instead of laying the football out in front of his receiver so that he can catch it and run after the catch, throws it behind him where he's got to reach back for it and allows the defender to then take the football away from his receiver. That's the inconsistencies of Ryan Tannehill. Some bad footwork, and you get bad footwork when you have bad offensive line play. Because all of a sudden now, all of the things that you've worked on over the summer go out the window when guys start hitting you in the mouth. You're not thinking about footwork. You're thinking about, let me get rid of this football as fast as possible. That's how mistakes get made. And so he had elementary school kid numbers in this game. These are young man numbers, 12 of 18. Those are babysitter numbers, man. You need a babysitter at the crib for you when you got numbers like that. I can't leave you at home with 12 of 18. You in your second contract, 12 of 18, really? That speaks volumes as to how bad the Dolphins are right now. Those are junior high numbers, man. Marcus Mariota is over there in his second year in the league, 29 of 28, or 20 of 28. 12 of 18? Those are preseason numbers, bruh. Let's go to the dislikes. Go to the second half. Taylor Lewan with back-to-back penalties. He's a hothead. We know this. Okay? You like your offensive lineman to play with an edge. Taylor Lewan does that, but he can take that over the line sometimes. And he got into a little brouhaha. And the next two plays after that little mix-up, he gets a holding penalty and then a hands to the face penalty. He's got to be better. Destroyed that drive that had some promise. They end up having to punt. Taylor Lewan is one of the leaders of this team. He's got to be better in situations like that. Extra point block. Look, you win this football game 30-17. Dolphins weren't a threat at the time when this was blocked, but still, don't put yourself in a position where you can lose the game with 2 touchdowns. Don't get an extra point blocked. Don't do that. And now with the new rules where you can block an extra point, scoop it up, and get some points off of it, don't do that. Don't let an extra point get blocked. Your special teams is killing you right now. 2 punt returns in the last 2 weeks, an extra point blocked here. Get it together. I don't know who's in charge of the special teams for the Titans. Get it together, though. Costing your team points. That's 8 points you cost your team in this game. The 7 you gave up on the punt return for a touchdown and the extra point that was blocked. Get it together. Miami Dolphins second half dislikes. Tannehill's first interception. I talked about it already. Jason McCourty picking him off. Tannehill with some poor footwork on that particular play, allowing the ball to be picked off. Look, it is what it is. He needs to be better. Offensive line needs to be better. Bad throw by Tannehill. Put the football out in front of your receiver, let him run and catch it and make a play afterwards. He didn't do that on that play. Going backwards in the red zone, I talked about the big deep ball down the field to Devontae Parker. That drive was marred by penalties once they got inside the red zone. You get a Jarvis Landry holding penalty that negates Jay Ajayi catch and run for a touchdown. Then you get another penalty, a sack on Ryan Tannehill. They got to settle for a field goal. Again, you're not good enough. You get in the red zone, you need touchdowns, not field goals. Can't go backwards in the red zone. And then Tannehill throws his second interception at the end of the game. Desperation time, throws it up for grabs. Damian Stafford picks him off. Look, Dolphins right now don't have a lot to look forward to be honest with you. This is a team right now struggling offensively. You got people already calling for Tannehill's head. Adam Gase had to go defend him in the press conference, which he's right to do because it's not like you got a young quarterback waiting in the wings to take over. What are you going to do, put Matt Moore in the game? Matt Moore is not going to lead you to the promised land. Until you have a better option, Ryan Tannehill is going to be your guy. But I'm telling you right now, it doesn't matter who you put behind this offensive line. If you don't protect, you're not going to be successful. And it's not all on the offensive line. Ryan Tannehill has to play better. Simple as that. They don't play well enough. And I don't even think the play calling has been all that great. And Jarvis Landry, he's one of these high-volume guys. Well, get him the football. Get it to him quick. Wide receiver screens. Quick passes out of Tannehill's hand. He's holding on to the football way too long. And when he is getting rid of it, they're dump-offs to the running backs out of the backfield. How about you hit a receiver? Allow these dynamic playmakers to make plays. I'm not in love with all of the things that I'm seeing from the Dolphins right now. Defensively, there's no life defensively for this football team. They came out week 1 against Seattle and played inspired football. I haven't seen that brand of football from them since. Where is it? Too much talent on that defense for them to be this bad. And I know they got a ton of injuries. I don't care. Everybody's got injuries. Deal with it. Overcome them. The good teams in this league do. Obviously, the Dolphins aren't that. And so they use those types of things as excuses. Excuses are like assholes. Everybody's got one. Yours stink, though. So we'll see what happens with the Dolphins moving forward. They're now 1-4 in the season. And if you can't beat Tennessee at home, it's not going to get much better for you this season. I can assure you of that. Big win for the Titans, go on the road. And if the Titans could just play with a level of consistency, there are games to be won here. They could have beat the Oakland Raiders at home 3 weeks ago. They could have beat the Houston Texans on the road last week. There are games here to be won if they can just play with a level of consistency that seems to escape and elude them. Marcus Mariota has to play like this if they're going to win. He didn't play this well last week, and that's why they lost. You gave up a special teams touchdown last week. That's why you lost. Have to eliminate the big plays. They gave up some big plays in this game. A deep ball to Devontae Parker, a catch and run by Damian Williams, a punt return for a touchdown. Stop giving up big plays if you're the Titans. You want to win games, stop giving up big plays and make teams earn it. You gave up the 2 touchdowns to the Vikings in week 1 on turnovers. Stop giving up big plays. You gave up the punt return last week for the game winner against the Texans. Stop giving up big plays. And maybe you'll win some more football games. All right. Let's see what we got. Spidey92 says, if the Titans can take advantage of their weak schedule they have coming up, do you think they can make a push for the division title or wild card berth? They make too many mistakes. Yeah, they got a weak schedule, but I need to see consistency from this team. I don't see it from week to week. I need to see this team that I saw in this game moving forward. If I can get that kind of production out of the running game, which was supposed to be the strength of this team, which I think they go away from sometimes, and if I can see Marcus Mariota using his legs and being more of a playmaker and a creator, this is a team that can be dangerous and win some games. But it starts with consistency. It starts with not giving up big plays. It starts with not giving up punt returns for touchdowns. It starts with Marcus Mariota. It starts with the running game. It starts with them having a level of consistency that they haven't shown this season. They need to be more consistent. Yes, they have a last place schedule, but it doesn't matter if you're not playing consistent football. Anything's possible. They're one game out of first place. One game. That's it. This division is wide open, but you got to be consistent if you want to win it. You had a chance last week to beat Houston on the road. You blew that opportunity. You're going to get more opportunities. You haven't played the Colts yet this year. You got the Texans one more time. You got the Jags twice. This division is anybody's. Anybody who wants it can have it, but you got to play consistent football if you're the Tennessee Titans. Deron Johnson says Trestman got fired. Yeah, he's horrible as an offensive coordinator. We knew that was coming. They've been bad this season, and a lot of it has to do with Mark Trestman playing it close to the vest and just being really predictable on offense. And I thought it was coming. I didn't know it was going to come this soon, but it's here. We'll talk about that probably a little bit later on down the week. All right, so that's the last of the comments. Let's check Twitter quickly. And no tweets. So that's going to do it for this breakdown on lockdown coverage. Dolphins fall to 1-4 on the season. Lose at home to the Tennessee Titans. Let's see. I just got a tweet. Okay, but it doesn't have anything to do with this. So, yes, big win for the Titans on the road. Gets their second win of the season. 2-3 now on the season, and for this Titans team, 2 wins on the road, no wins at home this season. Gotta find a way to win back at home. Gotta find a way to win the games that are there to be had. A couple of 7-point losses the last couple of weeks before this win. Gotta find a way to pull out some of these close games. If you're the Titans, gotta be a little bit more consistent. The opportunity to make a push to steal this division is there. Don't want to talk crazy. It's early in the season, but this division is right there. There's no alpha male in this division. The division is right there, much like last year. Anybody's game. You want it, go take it. It's a big win on the road against a very, very bad Dolphins football team. If it happens in the National Football League, whether big or small, we cover it all here on lockdown coverage in the lab room. Come back and join your man Louie Tee, as I've got plenty more games to look at in week number 5 in the National Football League. Remember, we're changing the game one live feed at a time. I will see you guys next time. Dolphins 1-4, Titans 2-3 after the victory at Miami 30-14. I will see you guys next time.